straight from New Orleans Square at Disneyland Resort, we have the Carriage House. Hey! It's everybody's favorite slave quarters. Right there on the side of the Haunted Mansion. Well, that's what it is. Hey, they could beat around the bush all they want and call it it's a stable or whatever. No, not when you look at a plantation manor estate like the Haunted Mansion is modeled after in the Deep South around this time. That is not what this was originally for right there. But the ugly hole behind it. Exactly.
I will say that building with Tiana's in the background looks a lot like the same kind of style of house for Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Did I say that out loud?
Well, you'll know for certain when they put graffiti on it. Marxist graffiti, I should say.
Hey. That's called art, okay? Jeez.
Oh, boy. Is it really, though? Is it really?
I'm kidding, everyone. I'm kidding. Jeez.
You can see what this was actually supposed to look like right here. Much more diminutive, I think, a little smaller in scale and with a lot more dressing on it. Actually, you actually have 2 doors on the side. Whereas here, it's a little plain Jane, a lot bigger than anybody quite anticipated.
Plain Jane is so nice, Joe or Vash. Like this is pathetic. This looks like I'm gonna go in there and look at a bunch of realty listings. Like this sucks.
Yes, it is. It's not very good. You can see how, that's the exit for the Haunted Mansion. This is I think like a 1,800 people per hour attraction. 1,800 people an hour going through that little walkway right there. It's not
get put out by something that just looks like the restroom. I wouldn't know that was the gift shop or anything. That's awful.
Isn't that weird? Isn't that bizarre? I know the hardscaping makes it look like a wood patio or something, but it doesn't quite work out. I don't think in the way that they anticipated. Jim Shaw, ex-Imagineer, actually had a lot to say about this. He says, "Why is the retail shop placed directly in front of a major e-ticket ride attraction? Marty Sklar drove into we Imagineers the importance of protecting the weenie, the thing that subconsciously pulled guests through Disneyland. This placement is designed malfeasance." Hashtag design, hashtag Haunted Mansion. Yes, the weenie was an old term back in the 50s and 60s. where Walt said, hey, hanging the weenie in front of the dog to get him to do something, you have this icon or this piece that draws you in and draws you forward. For example, the castle serves that purpose on the edge of Main Street. The Matterhorn maybe for that side of Fantasyland. Splash Mountain used to do that for that area of the river and so forth. And now you have, basically this on the edge there. And it actually does compete for scale with the Haunted Mansion nearby, which is a very weird choice. Jim Shaw, when the walls actually came down earlier this week, said, "Reminds me of Dorothy's house in The Wizard of Oz, dropped from the sky to land where it did." It unconnected to anything surrounding it.
Maybe for the movie Wicked, they'll have a meet and greet with the red shoes at the edge of it. They'll talk and wiggle.
Yes. That would be interesting. A little tie-in right there. You can see here. You can pick up one of these yourself if you wanted to.
Make our own.
Wow. That's what I'm saying. You can see. Oh, I had another one. Oh, here we go. That's the one. Yeah.
Cracker Barrel.
It's.
I was thinking already. If you add some red to this could pass as a State Farm insurance building. I mean, it worked.
It's very generic. It's very bland, and a lot of people shared
everything. Have you got the Martinez house that was there in the orange field before Disneyland that got moved around?
Oh no, yeah, the Pope House. Yeah, I do not. I probably should have dug that up, but it's you're not exactly wrong, Lou. It actually looks very similar. You can see the replies here to some of this. They were pretty tough. This is embarrassing. It has all the character and charm of Realtor's office up at Lake Arrowhead. Sorry. Best thing about the shop is that it hides the horrendous attraction behind it. That's a good point there. I think I saw that at Lowe's for $6.99. Yeah, you can kind of read that there. Not so good. Even Eddie Sato kind of got into the game right here. Ex-Imagineer, worked there for a long time, especially during the very prolific Tony Baxter years. You can see these were some examples of things that they could have created instead of what they ended up creating to make it more in line with not just the theme of the Haunted Mansion, but just a little bit extra special than what was actually provided. Some people were also taking to comparing it to the to some shacks that were coming up, like in Dark Universe, or actually for Walt Disney World's Memento Mori, their post-attraction shop there. Guys, what do you think about this? Are we overreacting, or is this a Imagineering travesty?
Obviously, it reflects the high priority which they gave to this project. None.
We're back to the part where it's like, hey, this is our concept, it looks amazing, can't wait to see it, to what the hell did they build? And this looks not quite like the concept. It's bigger, it's very plain Jane. Again, as I was mentioning earlier to you guys, I think really it's just so that it can meld in well with the whole Bayou country and Tiana's Bayou Adventure on the side there. But seriously, this is not how I expected it to turn out at all. It's a disappointment.
It would have been better if they'd themed it to the Bayou and just ignored the Haunted Mansion, because this trying to be a compromise does zip for either one. This is a case of, hey, there's been this big empty space along that walkway for years, not selling something and making us money. Put something there to do so. End of story.
Yeah, you can see this post right here from Theme Park Casual, who is expert in design, I would say. Sorry, but no, I was hoping that there would be some more additional dressing, but if they don't have it ready for the media event, which, by the way, for Tiana's Bayou Adventure, that took place, I believe, last night, if I'm not mistaken, I'm guessing it's not coming. Way bigger than the concept art showed. They can make concept art very close to the final product, vice versa. Unfortunately, they didn't do it here, I think is the sentiment.
No, what obviously happened is somebody from retail looked at the concept art and said, we need another 400 square feet or we don't want to do it, or whatever,
Probably.
And then there was the other guy who was going, oh, but remember, we don't have any money. We got to cut costs where we can. And they went, okay, what do we do? Go to Home Depot.
Yeah.
get the Home Depot special.
Get more done.
I would point out, there's a famous quote from Samuel Goldwyn about going on location. And he said, a rock is a rock, a tree is a tree, shoot it in Griffith Park. But the object was not the building. The object was what they were shooting.
It's just so tough. Theme Park IQ, who has been, I think, pretty supportive of these additions to Disney Resort recently, says the new Haunted Mansion retail shop is actually pretty bright at night. Isn't it supposed to be a little more ominous and spooky? Yeah, again, this is a case of Disney getting the ambiance for the lighting. Not quite right. I know for Tiana's Palace next door to the Haunted Mansion now, that's emitting a little bit too much light in my mind as well. So it's just kind of a miss all around. I think a lot of people were I don't know if they were necessarily excited, but they were optimistic when looking at that first piece of concept art, and to see what they actually did to what was a beautiful transition only a couple, 2 years ago, I think is very kind of sad, especially for Walt's Park. And we lost a lot of those great Italian cypresses back there. Some of those have been around since the 1950s. Very, very sad. Is
that an overstatement for me to call this tragic? Because thinking back in the past, one of the few things I remember us giving compliments to Tiana's Bayou Adventure was the fact that it looked kind of cool when it was nighttime. It had all the purple there, glowing, had that menace to it. And now it's eradicating the one thing we actually said that was a positive about it. That is bizarre to me.
Yeah.
It's actually a decent point right there. I'm not sure what I think Lou is right. I think his idea is right that retail may have said, hey, look, listen, we need more space. And perhaps maybe the interior looks, really nice in order to support this kind of thing. I don't know. But I mean, this is a very distinct part of Disneyland. This is a lot of people's, what they would consider the heart of Disneyland. So to kind of lose it in this way, really kind of tragic, and it's really sad, like you said, Nolan. So Very unfortunate, but well, we have a lot of unfortunate things today.
Well,
Unfortunately.
Before we continue on, I just want to say, I had the chance to see the lights on inside coming through that window, and it did look kind of cool. But from what my sources tell me is that they're going to have more stuff in there from the Museum of the Weird. And if that's the case, then I think it might look kind of cool inside.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, like Raised Braves, where they added the jars for the fireflies. If they have the attention to detail inside, then maybe it'll be a little bit better than what we see on the outside. It is a disappointment from what they've shown so far.
Indeed. That was a highlight from our live stream on That Park Place Podcasts online, where the full stream can be found at the link in the description. But what about you? What were your thoughts on this particular story? Please let us know in the comments below. Like this video if you did like this video. Share us out, as it helps us out tremendously against the YouTube algorithm. And thank you so much for watching. T3, BO. Please comment, like, and share this video. And don't forget to subscribe to That Park Place Podcasts online, your source for exclusive content and highlights from WDW Pro, The Pro Show, and That Park Place for all the news that should be fun.